In this presentation, I will show my TPAC development because I'm actually really excited about it. It is obviously work in progress, but at this point I feel very confident about the tools I now know exist, and that's why I call my presentation TPAC Planning and Exploring, because it really describes where I stand right now. The first picture is from the beginning of the course. I think it was module 5. Back then, I felt technology was my weakest link, even though it wasn't really true. More accurately, the technology in the context of teaching was my weakest link. I couldn't really see how I would ever be able to incorporate technology into teaching Spanish or French. And the second picture here represents my dream TPAC, or hopefully my future TPAC. And you can see that there is no description here, and it is because I simply don't know what it is going to look like in the future. My only goal right now is to make it well balanced. A little reminder before I get very personal here, TPK, technological pedagogical knowledge, I understand it as incorporating technology into your practice, applying different exciting teaching strategies to the use of technology. And TCK, technological content knowledge, is bringing new content with the help of technology or discovering new ways to conceptualize content. So in both cases, I believe technology should not be a lesson on its own. It should be an integral part of your lesson. Now back to where I stand right now. I still have a year and a half before the end of my degree, so I feel pretty good about myself at this point. I would like to describe key changes in my general lesson planning or general idea about how my hypothetical lesson will be structured in the future. So the first big change of my TPK is trying to incorporate Maker Day principles into my future language classroom, and I don't think it's going to be easy. Teaching languages to high school students may seem a very dull process to some people. You introduce new words and your students make up sentences, or it can be even worse, it can be a whole hour of conjugation. But lately I've been reading up and I discovered that word association is the big thing right now. So I thought about Minecraft. What if students make their own digital world at home and describe it in Spanish? There are a few ways this task can be completed, and it can also be done at different levels. Students can use vocabulary they're comfortable with or new words only. They can present it to the classroom, send it to me, or write a paper on it. There are so many options. But the point of this activity is to get students to create something and to think about it in a different language. I think students will remember words and sentences they use better because they will always have this picture of their own creation in their mind. So next pedagogical change is flipped classroom. How great is this? Students can cover basic concepts at home and do more complicated things in class with my help. I can use screencasts where I present them these concepts, and I would make it a very short task, 20 minutes or less, enough for them to be prepared for more fun and complicated assignments we can cover in class together. Now, my TCK, technological content knowledge. How can I bring in new content with the help of technology? I think mobile learning is the answer here. I've explored different apps in the last couple of months, and I think Duolingo is fantastic. Students can use it in class or at home. It can be a good way to introduce new content or review the old one. If students don't have mobile devices, they can access it in the library. There are a few other apps I've explored, and you can see them on my s'mores poster here. All of them are free. This is the only poster I've created so far, so if you search my name, Irina Scheibak, you will find this. Back to my TCK. I think the other good thing about those apps is that it's a way to change the role of mobile devices from distractions to learning tools. So it'll really change the dynamic of the classroom. So this other change of my TCK is it would be applied for a higher level of Spanish, maybe Spanish 20 or even 30. I've never heard about connectivism before this class, and I really like this theory because it actually applies to me. I do have a lot of friends who are native speakers of the languages I'm going to teach, so during my first undergraduate degree, I asked for their help a lot. For example, translating a certain difficult concept or explaining a grammatical rule. So my idea is to introduce basics of connectivism in my future classroom. It does sound a little bit risky, and I do keep in mind that it's crucial to educate students on the importance of digital citizenship first, but I think at the end it will be worth it, because this kind of assignment will get students to think outside the classroom. They would create a social network strictly for connecting with groups of people and groups in the studied language field. They can connect with Spanish and French professors, language groups, bilingual groups. The sky's the limit. And there are a few different tasks they can do. All of them are research-oriented. It can be about culture or meaning of a certain word, a phrase that is only used in a particular Spanish-speaking region, for example. Something interesting that would get them excited about the language, not the boring all-day conjugation stuff, which you also need, but this is a different kind of assignment. I think this task would really show them what connectivism is about. Social networking is not just about selfies and Instagram pictures of someone's feet. It's about gathering interesting information and using it to get good grades. This is the goal of this assignment. So back to the first slide. Instead of creating a new TPACK diagram, I will go back to my future dream TPACK, because I feel like right now I'm in a process and it's impossible to create an accurate diagram. Too much is changing all the time. I also feel like changing of the technological knowledge affects the other areas as well. But I think all of this is very exciting. I feel that I have this whole new approach to teaching languages, and it makes me less nervous because with this approach, I feel like I will connect to my students better. So this is my feedback.